and welcome back to Modelesque. We are talking about walking. Now, the basics for walking really starts at the top, and we'll talk all the way to your feet. So we want to start with good posture and our head up. This is not good posture. This is not good posture. Even if we bring it back, this is not good posture. We're not looking for this either. We're not looking for this. That's my rib deformity, don't make fun of me. So we want to roll those shoulders back and also practice rolling them forward. You could also try arm circles where you stick your arms out like this and you move them little tiny circles forward and little tiny circles backwards. And this will help to work on the muscles here and the muscles here. So the muscles here, if you are a huncher, are really tight, and the muscles back here are overstretched. So when you go to stand up, you end up with pain here because these muscles are being stretched to their extent, past their extent, and these ones back here are being squished. And so you end up with a lot of pain. And so this is going to take a daily practice and discipline, and make sure you are working on that posture, even when you're at home, even when you're driving, especially a lot of people drive very, hunched over, annoyed they're in traffic. You gotta stand up and engage that core, use your abs as you're standing up to build that posture and help to change that muscle structure so that you're not in pain when you have proper posture. And this is not just about modeling. It is very good for your health to have proper posture. This allows for better digestion, better breathing. All of those things lead to your body working better and functioning better and feeling and looking better because you're squishing all your organs right now and they're getting all annoyed. So give them the room they need to breathe and move and do. So practice that posture, practice stretching, any type of yoga, any type of bar classes. All of that's going to have lots of good stretching. Stretch at home, stretch at the gym, get a trainer. You can do it on any budget level. And when you are holding stretches, try and hold them for as long as possible. You're not looking to be in extreme pain. You are looking just to feel that stretch a little bit. And go slow. We don't want injuries. So with that posture that we're imagining, a trick that I learned was to imagine there's a string in the top of your head yanking and pulling you up. So you want to elongate that upper torso. You want to elongate that neck and bring that head up. And imagine that you are literally being held on a string. We learned this in dance class if any of you have done that. So imagine that string being pulled up right before you go on the runway or right before you do a walk at a casting. If you're next up, you want to take that second, depending on your wardrobe and your hair, you don't want to mess up things right before you walk down the runway, but go ahead and roll those shoulders back and make sure that you are standing up straight. Make sure that that head is looking forward. We are not looking down. We're not looking way up. We have a straight head. So we are looking straight ahead because we are looking at the end of the runway to all those photographers that are going to take your photos at the photo pit at the end of the runway. We are looking at them the entire time. We are imagining them even when we're doing castings. So if you are walking and there is a human being in front of you that you are walking to who's running the casting, you look just above their head. So right here at the top of their head is where you want to look because it makes them see your eyes and see your whole face, but you're not making awkward eye contact, so it doesn't feel weird when you're trying to be fierce at the end of the runway and you're like staring them down like, hi, I'm fierce. And we don't want to do anything crazy with the face or the eyes. Some girls get like this and they lift up the eyebrows and they start flaring their nostrils. We don't want any of this tension. So relax the face. Now, most of the time we are going to have a relaxed, fierce face, except for things like commercial and 1950s and presentation type of modeling. So that is going to be, this is my relaxed face. This is not good enough. So we want to raise those eyebrows and I want to look alive and bright and happy, but I'm fierce. That's the face we're going for. So practice that in the mirror until you can find your resting, fierce face. You're not being overly bitchy about it, and you're not being overly relaxed, and you're not showing overly happiness, but you are relaxed and you are fierce. So those are the facial expressions that we're doing for the majority of the time. For any castings, if anyone says, "Can I see your walk?" you default to that face. But of course, if there's commercial, you might be doing closed mouth smiles or even teeth smiles down the runway. It depends on the client and what the show is for. So we've talked about posture, we've talked about the head up, we've talked about facial expressions. Let's talk about our arms. We do not want them stuck at our side like a Barbie doll. Make sure that when you're walking, you're allowing your arms to naturally flow with you the same way that you walk. We've talked about this in rock walking. Make sure the opposite leg to the opposite arm, that is how you naturally walk. So make sure you are practicing that. And this is about the amount of movement that we want away from our body. We do not want this. We do not want anything swinging real fast. We don't want our arms going wide out for some reason. Some people do that. Some people just hold one and they only move the other. And like everybody has their little thing. Find your thing in the mirror, record yourself walking, get someone else to record you. It could be in a hallway, it could be the next time you go park your car, maybe not in a parking lot, that's a little dangerous, I take that back. But down the walkway in your house, down your hallways, if you live in an apartment, maybe an apartment hallway, maybe in the laundry room. Like, you gotta find a place to practice your walk. The world is your runway. And so have that recording to see what your arms are doing. If your hands are doing any weird things down here, they're like flinging around, dancing. We don't want any of that. We want very natural, relaxed hands with just a little bit of space in between them. We don't want them here. We don't want them here. They're just chilling, real relaxed. And you see I've just got the tiniest bit of curve in my hand. They're not straight. They're not overdone. They're not clenched. They're just chilling. And this is what we're doing. So just allow those arms to move naturally. Now let's move on to the hips. We don't use them. I know, it's shocking. Most of the time we are not using our hips at all. We are using our feet and our legs, which naturally moves the thing that's attached to them, the hip. So we want to naturally let those hips get where they're going. I'm going to show you that in more in-depth walking videos, but we are not really focusing or using the hips. Now, I know you've all seen a celebrity walk that does the over-hipping walk. That's a celebrity walk. Celebrities are hired because they have millions of followers and fans, which can equate to millions of dollars in sales. And everything in modeling revolves around money and profits. They are not being hired for their talent. I'm not saying that none of them have talent, but some of them have really ridiculous walks or faces that can't move because they've Botoxed away all of the muscle movement, and that's not what a client is typically looking for. If they are hiring a regular model, they want you to be able to move your face and show different emotions, and they want you to have a strong, solid walk, not an overdone, dramatic, viral walk. But celebrities are allowed to get away with that stuff because they have millions of followers and fans. So unless you are a celebrity or an influencer who's super, super famous, you are not going to be using your hips in 99% of your walks. There may be a client who says, I want a hippie walk, because as with everything in modeling, it is always a case-by-case basis, and whatever the designer's vision is what we are trying to give them. So someone may ask for it, but 99% of the time, we are not using the hips at all. We are not doing any of this. No, just stop it. Next, we are going to talk about those feet. So the feet, which are connected to our hips, are going to make our hips drop as we walk, because as I lean, so I'm back here and I've taken a step. You see how my hip went up? I didn't move the hip, I moved my foot and my leg. But in order to go forward onto that foot that I'm stepping on, my hip had to adjust. So your hips are naturally going to do things for you. And when we are walking, we want to walk one foot in front of the other 99% of the time. We are trying to literally walk in a straight line. So get a big piece of tape or put a few together until it's thick enough, or walk on a curb, don't break your ankle, or draw a line somewhere and practice walking one foot in front of the other until it is second nature. Practice this for years to come. Practice it anytime you can, even if it's 5 steps or 20 steps. Practice one foot in front of the other. We don't want this kind of walking where our hips are spaced out. It doesn't look good. I'm going to show you that in full length. And we don't want anything that's overly crossing. Again, maybe once in a while a client might ask for this dramatic walk, but this over crossing stuff is reserved for celebrities and viral moments. This is not a walk that clients are booking. The next time you watch a runway show, I want you to ignore all of the celebrity and famous models. The ones you don't know their name, the ones the face is just a blur to you and you have no idea who they are. Watch their walks. Emulate and learn from them because they got booked 100% because of their talent. And that is the walk that the client wants their show to be. And that is 90% of the models who are booked. There may be a couple celebrity models booked for viralness and potential sales into their millions of followers, but all the rest of the models have a very basic walk with one foot in front of the other, none of this dramatic stuff, and you will notice that now that I've pointed it out to you. So make sure you're watching those runway shows and you're learning these tricks and you're practicing as much as possible, even without a camera, but when you can, also record that to find if your arms are doing funny things. And next up, we are going to look at some full-length examples of how to walk and all of the different types of walks.